In a bold and thoughtful message that has resonated across the African continent, Ugandan opposition leader, artist, and activist Bobi Wine has publicly called on Burkina Faso's transitional president, Captain Ibrahim Traore, to embrace the democratic process by giving free and fair elections a genuine opportunity. This message, delivered not as criticism, but as a call for unity, development, and long-term peace, has sparked debate, reflection, and inspiration among Africans who admire both leaders for their courage and stance against foreign domination. As both Bobi Wine and Captain Ibrahim Traore stand as symbols of African youth, resilience, and sovereignty, the exchange carries powerful implications. It is not a confrontation, but a conversation, one rooted in the desire for Africa to chart its own path forward, blending accountability with liberation. Bobi Wine, whose real name is Robert Kyagulanyi Sentamu, rose to fame as a musician before transitioning into politics in Uganda. His people power movement has mobilized millions of young people in Uganda and beyond, inspiring hope for democratic change, transparency, and a better future for African nations. Captain Ibrahim Traore, on the other hand, captured the world's attention in 2022, when he assumed leadership in Burkina Faso through a popular uprising, backed by a large segment of the population. His vision has been focused on reclaiming national resources, prioritizing local development, resisting foreign exploitation, and empowering citizens through grassroots structures like the Volunteers for the Defense of the Homeland (VDP). These two leaders, both young, fearless, and deeply rooted in the struggles of their people, represent different approaches to governance, but share a common dream: an independent, self-reliant, and dignified Africa. Bobi Wine's message: the true power lies in the people. In a recent video and public statement shared across his social platforms, Bobi Wine acknowledged the challenges faced by Burkina Faso and applauded the courage of its people under President Ibrahim Traore's leadership. He recognized the difficult decisions being made to free the country from economic dependency and insecurity, and saluted the spirit of resistance to neocolonial influence. However, Bobi Wine also emphasized that the true strength of a leader lies not only in defending sovereignty from foreign actors, but also in honoring the will of the people through democratic processes. Leadership is about trust, he said. It is about showing the people that they matter not only during revolutions but in the quiet days of decision-making. He urged President Ibrahim Traore to prepare the nation for peaceful, credible elections, ensuring that any transition to long-term leadership involves the active participation and consent of the citizens. Bobi Wine's call was made with respect, not hostility. He did not question Captain Ibrahim Traore's integrity or motives, but offered a brotherly reminder that even the most passionate revolutions must one day give way to sustainable institutions. What makes this moment particularly powerful is the underlying tone of Pan-African solidarity. Bobi Wine did not single out Burkina Faso to criticize. Instead, he used the example to reflect on a broader issue facing several African countries: the tension between revolutionary change and democratic governance. He asked, how can we, as sons and daughters of Africa, rise above the mistakes of the past? How can we build systems that reflect our values, our cultures, and our visions, not just in words, but in how we govern? This message resonated with many across Africa who have watched with hope as Burkina Faso under Captain Ibrahim Traore moves towards self-reliance, while also holding concerns about long-term political structures. By voicing these concerns constructively, Bobi Wine elevated the conversation to one about legacy and future generations. The Burkina perspective: a nation in transition. Since assuming power, President Ibrahim Traore has introduced sweeping reforms focused on economic independence, national security, and social justice. Under his leadership, Burkina Faso has pushed back against foreign control over its natural resources, expelled exploitative actors, invested in local industry, and launched national campaigns for reforestation, education, and defense. These initiatives have earned him widespread admiration from across Africa and the diaspora. For many, Captain Ibrahim Traore represents the bold African leader the continent has long awaited and afraid to challenge global systems and prioritize the dignity of his people. At the same time, some citizens and observers have asked, when or how the transition will evolve into a permanent political system that includes elections, opposition voices, and institutional balance. In response, officials in Burkina Faso have stated that stability and security remain the top priorities, and that the groundwork for elections must be laid carefully to prevent chaos or regression. Captain Ibrahim Traore has emphasized the importance of unity in a time of external threats and has not dismissed the idea of elections, but has not yet confirmed a clear timeline. What stands out in Bobi Wine's appeal is the respectful tone. There is no antagonism, no accusation, and no divisiveness. He praised what is working and merely posed a question: can the dream be made stronger through the involvement of the people in an electoral process? He stated, "True freedom is not only the ability to say no to foreign powers, but also the ability to say yes to our own people, to hear them, to let them decide who leads them." By engaging in this dialogue, both leaders model a different kind of political discourse, one where disagreement is not seen as betrayal, and where calls for democracy are not treated as Western impositions, but African aspirations. Across the continent, Africa's youth are taking note. Both Bobi Wine and Captain Ibrahim Traore have inspired a new generation to believe that leadership is not the preserve of the elite, and that true change begins from the ground up. Social media reactions to Bobi Wine's message have been diverse. Some fully agree. Others believe Burkina Faso is not yet ready for elections, while others appreciate the dialogue and call for unity and vision. What is undeniable is that the youth of Africa are hungry for a leadership that combines courage with compassion, vision with inclusion, and strength with accountability. As transitions unfold across Africa, the role of civil society becomes ever more critical. Strong institutions, active media, youth engagement, and civic education are essential to sustaining the gains of liberation movements. Bobi Wine's message, intentionally or not, echoes this point that revolutions must be institutionalized in a way that survives beyond one leader or administration. A fair and credible electoral process, backed by strong institutions, does not weaken sovereignty, it strengthens it. It ensures that power truly belongs to the people, and that governance continues in peace, not personality. The conversation between Bobi Wine and President Ibrahim Traore, though indirect, is symbolic of the new African chapter many have longed for. One where leaders challenge the status quo without becoming authoritarian, where citizens demand better without inviting chaos, where Pan-Africanism means accountability, cooperation, and compassion, not just resistance. It is not a question of whether revolutions are necessary, they often are, but the deeper question is, what do we build after the revolution? How do we ensure that the future is not just different from the past, but better? In this way, Bobi Wine's message is not a challenge to Captain Ibrahim Traore's leadership. It is an invitation to elevate it to historic proportions by setting a precedent for democratic transitions rooted in African values and realities. As Africa continues its journey towards self-determination, moments like these offer a rare opportunity to reflect on where the continent is headed. The conversation between Bobi Wine and Captain Ibrahim Traore is not about who is right or wrong. It is about what kind of future Africans want to build, and how best to do it together. No one denies the strength, courage, and integrity shown by President Ibrahim Traore in navigating one of the toughest leadership roles in modern Africa. Likewise, no one dismisses the vision and passion of Bobi Wine as a voice for freedom and justice. Instead of choosing sides, perhaps the lesson is this: African transformation requires both resistance and reform, revolution and representation, courage and consent. And if two of Africa's most iconic young leaders can speak to each other across lines of difference with mutual respect and shared purpose, then perhaps there is still hope for a united, democratic, and sovereign Africa. If this story sparked something in you, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories from across the world. Bye, Africa Light.